Hello there again, everyone, and welcome back to sort of round two, or the update about the expectations for digital learning, remote learning rather. Hopefully you watched the first video, the one that I posted a few days ago. If you have not, please watch that one first. That will be linked in the description box down below. It is also it should be in the same post in Google Classroom that this one is, but you really do need to watch that one first because I addressed a lot of things there. And as you can see, my video quality is a lot better now. I got a better camera, so I apologize for the terribleness of the last one. But there were several things that I noticed a few days later that did not get addressed in that video, or things that have just I didn't think about then, or things that I wasn't sure about then that I wanted to address here. So this is some little bit of some different information that I wanted to go through with you. So let's get started so this doesn't end up running too long. So as far as something that I'm going to do that I did not mention in the first video because I had not decided to do it, is each week at the end of the week, by Friday of the week, I'm going to post for you in Google Classroom an overview like this of the week. Perhaps you have seen this in Google Classroom. This is the overview of the week that is coming. So again, by Friday, the expectations, the overview for the next week will be there for you to view. Let me pull this up for you so you can see what it will look like, and this is the one that should be in Google Classroom for you right now. What it has, of course, is each day. It has what notes, which means the video PowerPoint, the video lessons that you need to watch. You can see there where they are. The assignment that you'll need to complete, when that assignment is due, and then any other information that I might want to put. Sometimes there won't be anything there. You'll notice that's where I'm putting, reminding you of the days in which there are office hours. You guys have a summer assignment due on Monday the 17th, and then there'll be this looking ahead column where it will talk about maybe things that are coming up the following week, usually big things, so that you're not surprised by that when those come up. It won't be like the first time that you've seen it come Monday, for example, the first test. Since it's on a Tuesday, I didn't want you to just find that out, the Monday before. So I'll talk about that test and all that stuff in just a moment. Now, this is just an overview. There are no active links here. So none of these things, it's like where you can click on it and it will take you to it. It also doesn't mean these things will be available to you just yet. Some of the notes videos may already be available because those I do film, usually in advance. But it's basically just so you'll know what is coming. So for example, you could look on this overview right now and see that you have the Dawes Act analysis coming up on Tuesday. However, that's not going to show up in Google Classroom for you to complete until Tuesday. So it's not like I'm putting it all out there at one time for you to just get done whenever. This is just so you kind of know what's coming up, what to expect. That might help you budget your time a little bit better. That might help you sort of work like a checklist so you can go through and, okay, did I do all of these things, so forth. Let me call your attention to the due dates that go down the center column. Now, as I said before, you have something to do each day, but I've decided that for my class, my standard as far as the due date is going to be 3 days. So you will have, for example, you have this Google Slides activity assigned to you on Monday. It will then be due on Wednesday. So typically, unless it's a really long thing, you'll be assigned, and then 2 day, 3 day, that's when it's due. The reason why I'm giving that amount of time, it's not because those assignments should take you 3 days. It's not that I want you to wait until Wednesday to do it. Absolutely not. What I want you to do is do it on Monday and go ahead and get it turned in before the end of the day. But I didn't want to make a cutoff in Google Classroom then, because I do realize that not everybody's situation is the same, that some people are having to share a computer amongst everyone in the house. Some people are going to be utilizing the the Wi-Fi hotspots that the school system is rolling out. Some of you may be having to go over to a relative's house to use their internet, and so that may not be feasible for some of you. So the reason that I've made the due dates, 2 days later or on the third day, is to provide that flexibility. So please, I understand that my recommendation and what my expectation is for most of you is that you will do those things on the day they are assigned and get them turned in on the day they are assigned. You have a little bit of flexibility there, but don't take advantage of that, because if you wait until Wednesday to do all of that stuff, all this stuff right here, well, you're technically behind. It doesn't mean do it on Wednesday. It just means you have until Wednesday to get things handed in. in. And I hope that makes sense. If there's something going on in your personal situation that makes a due date not possible for you, please communicate with me. And I'm going to go over that again here in a little bit, just so we are all on the same page and we're not just disappearing and not turning things in and not explaining why. So make sure you keep up with those due dates. Like I said, it's going to be 3 days as the standard. There are some that I may extend longer than that if it's a particularly long thing or something that I did intend for you to work over multiple days. So that's what the weekly overview is going to look like. I'll post those in Google Classroom each week, like I said, by Friday, perhaps earlier, but there are no active links here. It's just so you know kind of what you can expect. Don't wait to the last minute to turn things in. All right, let me talk about textbook situation, the book situation. Okay, so there's sort of two books here. The textbook, the official textbook that's adopted by the county, is this big sucker. See how thick it is? The American Pageant. I'm technically going to be teaching out of this one in that this is how I'm going to organize the chapters, and the PowerPoints are going to line up to this. You were told, and please make sure that you do order this one. This is the one, the AMSCO book, that costs about 20 bucks. There's information about ordering this in Google Classroom. And I do want you to still use this. I'm not going to line up the chapters to it. Like, I'm not going to necessarily teach from it. It's all the same information. It's just organized a little differently. And this one, and the reason why you were asked to order this one, why this one has been used, is because it's much more concise, to the point. It's got the main things without all the fluff that this one tends to have. And there's a lot of stuff. Oh, it's upside down. There's a lot of stuff in here that I will skip over because it's not that it's unimportant, but it's just kind of the extra. So this is the one that I would recommend. Your notes are going to come from this one. The same information can be found in here. And what I'm going to post in Google Classroom, it should already be there, is I will have a list that shows you which chapters in here line up to this. So you'll know, okay, if I'm in chapter 23 in this book, then I should be reading chapter, I think it's like 18 or something in this one. So this is the one you really need to be reading, but this works much better as a study kind of a book. It's much easier to read. That's one of the reasons why you're being asked to use this one. Now, as far as, I don't want you to think, oh, she's testing us on stuff that we don't have access to. Number one, if you want, I don't know if we're going to issue these or not. I don't know how that's going to work with the textbook issuing. We can make it work eventually. I just don't know when. I'm not, though, going to, everything that you're responsible for out of this book, you will get from my notes. I'm not going to hold you responsible for something in here for a book that you don't have access to. So yes, I'm lining up my stuff to this, but I don't think it's going to hurt you that this one isn't in your hands just yet and that you're reading this one. It's the same information. No reading quizzes for now. Okay. I anticipate we may eventually have reading quizzes, but while we're virtual, I'm not going to put that on you. Once we come back into the classroom, I may start putting that in. If I do, reading quizzes are going to come from this book, not from this one. The big one. This one is a lot easier to read, so hopefully that's good news. This is not the easiest read in the world, even for an AP book. This one's truly not my favorite of all AP books, but it is what it is. It's not awful, but it is a bit of a difficult read, and it's long. Those chapters run super long, and we tend to combine them and do 2 chapters at once. You'll see that in the first couple of days. So that's the deal with the textbook. So reading quizzes, none for now. When you do have them, but I wouldn't even worry about this moment. They will come from this book. Right now, hopefully you have this one. I'm not going to officially be assigning readings out of it. I'm not going to be holding you responsible for any information that is not given to you in the video PowerPoints, but I might recommend that you kind of be looking at this one, reading along, for reinforcement for your own benefit, just to make sure that you're, just kind of backing up what I'm getting in the lectures. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling about this. If you have further questions about that, let me know, and I'm happy to clarify that. I know that's kind of that's sort of a weird thing. All right, so that's it about textbooks. Let's talk about tests. You perhaps noticed the first test is actually the second week of school. First of all, expect that tests are going to come faster. They are going to come more quickly because of the block schedule, because of the traditional block schedule. None of you have ever been on traditional block before, and that is one of the characteristics of traditional block, that is neither good or bad. It just is that tests come quick because we have to get through the whole class in half a year as opposed to the whole year. So whereas when we're on modified block, I'd say you usually expect a test from me, every 2.5 weeks, roughly 15 to 16 school days. On a regular or a traditional block like we're going to do, I would expect them maybe not once a week, but more like every 6 or 7 school days. So it's a lot. It's one right after the other. So just expect that. You will be given tests even while we are digital like this, because it is possible we could be digital all semester. We don't know, or virtual, remote. So there will be tests. We didn't do that in the spring, but there will be tests this time. How I'm planning to do that, and I'm still kind of ironing out the details of this, but the test will be probably in Google Forms. It will be all open-ended discussion, short answer, essay kinds of questions. There will be no multiple choice because, as I'm sure you can figure out, multiple choice is too easy for you to cheat. There is multiple choice, of course, on a test in a regular situation. There will be, I don't know how, the plan is right now, the College Board is anticipating that AP exams will be normal in the spring, in which case, yes, there will be multiple choice. But for right now, your tests are going to be basically all written. It will probably be in Google Forms. Those will probably come to you through email. My anticipation, again, this is where I'm still working some things out, is that Google form will be timed. So once you open it, there will be a time limit as to how long you have to insert your answer. So you can't just leave it open for hours and hours and hours. I'm not certain what that time limit's going to be. Certainly no more than an hour, but it's going to depend on how long I end up making it. I don't intend to make them too lengthy, but just be aware that they'll be timed. You won't be able to just take forever and ever with it. Technically, they're open notes and open book. Seeing as how I can't stop you from doing that, I can't be watching you. They are technically open notes and open book. However, do not assume, oh, that means it's going to be easy. I'm just going to look up the answers. And those of you that had me last year in honors, the kinds of questions that you can expect to see are so much more complex and so much more multifaceted that it is not just regurgitating facts. You can't just regurgitate facts. And that's what a textbook's going to give you, and that's what notes are going to give you, just fact regurgitation. It is going to require you to really know it, to show understanding, to show synthesis, to show analysis, to defend an argument. Those are things that your notes are not going to help you with unless you know them. So they may be helpful, but they are not going to be what's going to get you an A or whatever the grade you're shooting for. You're going to have to do the work as well, and you're going to have to know it. It is also, you need to make sure you realize that because they're going to be open-ended like that, it's going to be obvious to me if you've copied. I will be able to tell if I am reading the same answer or I've already read this answer. I will know if you shared your answer with somebody else, if y'all cooperated with each other. There'll be assignments given that I may not mind that too much. I will let you know. But on tests, most certainly you should not be collaborating with other people. You should not be sharing. I will be able to tell. I will be able to tell if you Googled something. I will be able to tell if you copied off of somewhere. I will know. So you need to, and you won't get credit for that. So please be aware of that. This is how the College Board did AP exams last spring. They said, yeah, technically they're open notes, but the tests are structured in such a way where you can't just copy from your notes or you're not going to get credit. You cannot just Google something. And, awareness will be very, very heightened as far as looking for the signs that something nefarious went on there. So hopefully I'll have a little more information for you about how testing is going to work by Thursday, but those are the things that I know now. Probably Google Forms, probably with a time limit. It will be open-ended no matter what it is, and something I will be able to tell if you cheat. I will be able to tell if it's not your work or you're just Googling things, and you won't get credit for that. So make sure you're studying and learning the information as we go along. Remind, make sure you are signed up for Remind. However, do not expect me to, I just want to talk about what I use Remind for and what I don't use Remind for. Do not expect Remind messages from me about every single assignment. I'm not going to send a message out every day. Don't forget to turn in your Google Slides activity. Don't forget to turn in your Dawes Act analysis. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to watch that. I'm not going to do that. That's what this is for. That's what Google Classroom is for. You have all that information out there to you. I am not going to be hounding you on Remind, reminding you to do things. Remind is going to be used for major updates, if there's a change, if something's not going right. there's a, whatever, that's when you can expect to hear from me there. But I don't expect to use Remind a ton. It is also, a way that you can contact me, and it may work more that way. So just don't expect bunches of text messages from me reminding you about every single little individual thing. Let's talk about the AP exam for a moment and what I know as of right now. First of all, the AP exam is required. If you do not sit for the AP exam, your transcript is not going to end up saying AP on it. We will remove that credit. So it is required that you take the AP exam. Per Dr. Cook, there will be no opting out this year. Last semester, because of everything that was going on, we allowed students to opt out of the AP exam, and they still got their AP credit, and the College Board allowed that and refunded their money. Dr. Cook is saying it is required no matter what. Nobody can opt out, even if the College Board right now, their line is it'll all be fine by the spring. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But even if they are allowing opting out or they're giving refunds, Dr. Cook has said everybody is still required to take the AP exam. So that is a requirement no matter what's going on in the spring and no matter what the College Board might say their policy is going to be about opting out. The exam date for AP US History is Thursday, May 6, 2021. So that is your target date for the AP exam. The fee for exam is $110. It is $15 if you are on free and reduced lunch. That payment is going to be due in December. I don't have the exact date, but for first semester students, it's due in December. Okay, so be aware of that and know that that's coming. And again, it is a requirement. Now, here's where we get into a funny situation that has not happened in a very, very, very long time. The downside and the thing that I personally do not like about block schedule is how it affects AP classes, because you're sitting here first semester and going to be finished with the class in December that you have to take an AP exam for in May. That gives us what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 months, 4.5, 5 months for you to forget everything. So there will be study sessions in the spring. I don't know when we're going to do them. We will talk, and you will be part of that discussion about what's the best time to do it. If we're back in the building by then, if we need to do it after school, if it's better to do it on the weekends, they may end up being virtual if we have to do that. But there will be study sessions. I don't know how many, but they will be required. Dr. Cook has said that we can require those. So just be aware that that will be happening, and that will be to your benefit. But there's no way possible for you to take this class, be finished with it in December, and remember everything by May. Not only are we going to have to do those study sessions, you're going to have to take some responsibility of that yourself. In the past, when we did traditional block like this, the AP classes did alternate. So they were the only ones that were alternating. So we were in it all year. That's not the case right now. I don't know if that'll change next year, but just be aware of that. And that does put an awful lot of responsibility on you if you want to be successful in the AP exam. So I'm going to do everything I can, but some of that's going to have to come from you. But that's what I can tell you about the AP exam right now. Very quickly about the Zoom meetings, please remember that they are optional. You are not required to attend those. My plan is to use those as kind of a Q&A session. If there's something that you're struggling with, I don't understand this assignment, I didn't understand what you said about this, I really would like more information about that. That's the kind of thing that I'm expecting. But it occurred to me, I would avoid, like, if you have sort of a personal question, like, I don't understand why my grade was this on this assignment, what did I do wrong? I'm not saying don't ask that. I'm just saying be aware that there will be other people in the Zoom meeting. So if that is an issue, if you don't want something like that discussed in front of everybody, don't ask those things in the Zoom meeting. You can email me those kinds of questions. I'm happy to answer them. And really, I would prefer that you do that if at all possible, because even if we were in the classroom, I would expect anything like that, you would come to me and ask individually. You wouldn't raise your hand and just say, hey, I want to know why my grade is like this. And again, in the Zoom meeting, I may tell you to email me. So just remember, just for your own privacy concerns and for respecting everybody else's time, make sure I would try to ask personal, individual questions in another way. Zoom meetings, not only are they not required, you can come in and out of them. It's just sort of a set time. And what is y'all's time? 2:30? Yeah. 2:30 to, no, that's not y'all. Y'all are 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So if you come in at 3:10, that's fine. If you come in at 3:10, ask the one question, then you can leave if you want to. You don't have to stay in the whole time. So I just wanted to be clear about that. It's not a requirement that you stay in the whole time. It is sort of a in and out. I expect people to be coming and going whatever the case may be. I may switch to Google Meet at some point. Right now, we're going to stick with Zoom because that's what I had already told you. But you may have noticed there's already a Google Meet link right there in Google Classroom. So I don't know if that's going to be easier. So just pay attention and listen. And if I end up changing that, I'll let you know. Final reminders: communicate, communicate, communicate. Okay, that is key and crucial. You know I'm going to communicate with you. I will put things on Google Classroom. I'm filming videos left and right. I will use Remind for those changes and updates, email, all that kind of stuff. But you have to be listening. I'm, blurting out all this stuff, but you got to be listening. So please check your email at least twice a day. And by that, I mean school email. We will only interact with you and respond to school emails. I would do that in the morning. I would do that in the afternoon. Check your Remind messages. Like I said, I'm not going to be hitting you up with that too much, but you still need to be checking, and you need to make sure that those notifications are on and that they're not silenced. You need to check Google Classroom every day. You need to either email me, Remind message me. If all your internet's working, call the front office, and they can either tell me to call you back, or they might even be able to patch you through to my room if it's on, during school hours. Communicate. Don't just disappear for 2 weeks because something's going on. And granted, I know things are going to be going on, and I intend to have as much flexibility as I can while still holding you accountable. But if you don't communicate with us, that gets a little bit difficult. So please make sure that you are doing what you need to do. As I said in the earlier video, saying that you didn't know will no longer be an excuse, because if you are doing all these things, there's no way you won't know. If you don't know, it's because you're not doing the other stuff that you were supposed to do. So a lot of accountability on you this time. We're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be things that I won't have planned for. There's going to be things that won't work. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to make this work the best we can. We're going to find the silver linings. There's always silver linings. And, like I said to some of you last year, all things are temporary. Everything ends. Everything ends. All things have a beginning. All things have a middle. All things have an end. And this too will end. I don't know if it will end this school year, but it won't be forever. And you will have this experience and this story to tell the rest of your life. And that, there's value in that too. So I'll see you guys soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Look forward to seeing you online.